board. Basia, can you hear us? I'm not sure what's going on with her. Let's try to. Basia. All Points Bulletin, Basia. Okay, still not her mic is on again, but I don't know. Maybe she stepped away from her set. All right, so let me pull up another pic.
Can you hear me?
There you go.
All
Okay,
right.
I wanted you to let us know if you wanted to touch on anything before we continue.
Oh no, I just wanted to say shalom to everybody, all the sisters and the brothers on the line, and I'm looking forward to doing this cleanse. I've done a different cleanse before over the course of maybe 10, 15 years, and I stopped doing cleanses in the past a little over 5 years. I haven't had a cleanse or a colonic or anything, and I really paid for it. Um, if you guys know, a lot of Hebrews tend to do a cleanse. We clean our colon out every 3 months, every time the season change. That is the norm in our community. And so I don't know. I don't know what came over me, but I just stopped doing it and I paid for it dearly. And so I'm looking forward to getting back in cycle, in the proper cycle, and getting that gut clean and keeping it clean and eating properly. So I'm really excited. Hope you guys are too.
Cool, cool, cool. And that's the thing. I mean, initially, to give you a background on the foundation of the cleanse that Basia is speaking about was originally what I came across 30 some odd years ago. But what I found was that the literature on that cleanse changed and the ingredients changed for whatever reason. Um, so knowing what the ingredients should have been and researching very basic changes that people um, just wouldn't typically raise an eyebrow. So instead of, for instance, the basic ingredient being lemons, when in reality it's limes, and it's a huge difference because you're dealing with the difference between something alkaline and something acidic, because they're not the same. Okay, here comes Ariel. And her, let's just say shout out. Peace, Ariel. Can you hear us? Let me make sure your audio's on. Your audio should come up in a second. I don't know if you can hear me. Hold on, she's texting me. Let me know in the chat that you just text me if you can hear me. It might be the same situation with Basi. You might have to mess with your audio settings right now because I'm not hearing you. Or I've unmuted everybody, so you can't hear me. Okay. Um, everybody else still hearing me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So it's something on your end. Oh, she can't hear me. Sure.
Yep. You.
Um, it says you're in. Mm, okay. you're not on hold anymore. You must have came in again.
Okay, I'm here.
Okay, cool. There you go. All right, everybody. This is Ariel. Just like I was just telling everybody about you. Ariel was part of the very first group of ladies that did the cleanse in this present form, in the present version. So she's got a very unique perspective. Um, Ariel, would you like to just give them a little recap of what your experience has been?
Sure. Uh, mm, sorry, I'm just stretching. um, so I did the 10-day cleanse. Um, what was it? It was last year, maybe like mid last year or something like that, right?
Right. Summertime.
And it was dope. When I first started, um, I had some issues as far as um, a very severe cycle, heavy menstruating, and a lot of excruciating pain. All my life, I've had issues with moving my bowels properly, and I haven't been one of the messiest eaters, but my diet could have been a little bit better. I try to incorporate a more healthier kind of vegetarian based diet. I'll eat a little fish here and there, maybe eat a little chicken once in a blue moon. But for the most part, um, yeah, I've always had bowel movement problems. So when I first started the cleanse, um, with the saltwater regimen, it's great. It alleviates a lot of blockages in your colon and your intestines. Um, Plus you're not putting any food in your system, so it's really giving your body a chance to fully rest and repair itself and cleanse everything out thoroughly, at the same time, while also adding minerals back, very essential minerals back into your blood, because it carries a 92 minerals that naturally make up the composition of the blood anyway. So with all that going on, plus taking the pepper pills and the drink, which is alkalizing, and the pepper pills, which is going in and burning up a lot of parasites and repairing a lot of damage to your internal system. The first thing I noticed was um, that I felt a lot lighter, but mainly I got really tired. Not tired, but sleepy. I started getting, really sleepy. I never had issues with sleep, but um, I was informed by Hans that because of the amount of cleansing that you're doing at the level that you're doing it at while not eating, it's triggering your body to say, oh, wow, so I'm not having to process any food and I'm getting all this healthy stuff inside of me. That's also instructing me to cleanse out. So let me go ahead and fully shut down while I have the chance to be able to fully repair on all levels while I'm in this state. So the body went into that homeostasis phase, and I started just sleeping a lot. And then after that, I started getting a lot of bursts of energy, and like by day 6, I started having very powerful and vivid dreams, and some of those dreams even became like visions and premonitions around like day 7. And then by the time I was done with the cleanse, going back onto a very light regimen, which is something that's very important. You can't just go from the cleanse to a feast, because it's really going to throw your body off because your body just went into a completely different phase. But I had got on my cycle maybe like day 8, and when I got on my cycle, I just was like, "Oh my God, give me some pain pills." I mean, I already know what's coming, and I assumed that I was still going to be in pain, but um, to my surprise, I didn't have any cycle pain at all. Plus, I did have some kind of fleshy something, because I had lost some kind of weight. When I'd have Hans explain that because he can explain that better. But I lost something, but it wasn't fat content and it wasn't water. So it was something got released from me.
So 1.2
But
pounds in an instant. And, I don't know if you want to get into the details of when you went to the bathroom that morning, but basically something came out, and
yeah,
we couldn't, like, it literally scurried down the toilet type of thing. It was that type of a situation. Yeah. It was, and that's why I tell you guys that I need y'all to have on deck that scale, because the scale is what gave us that insight, because we knew we were taking very, I mean, especially Ariel likes to weigh herself often, to see the improvement and whatever. Some people, I had one girl that did not weigh herself the whole time so that she could get the big number at the end of the 10 days. And she did. She got 25 pounds at the end of the 10 days, and she was very happy. She's not on here right now, but eventually you guys might get to hear her come on. Um, but Ariel was the opposite. She would weigh herself several times a day, checking the levels and whatnot. And so we were very aware when there was that drop of 1.2 pounds. We had I have a very accurate scale at the house back in Florida. And there was 1.2 pounds that dropped in one morning. And that was a phenomenon. It was something that came out that she knew came out, um, that just didn't allow us to even see what it was in the bowl. And that's a whole other level of discussion, because like I pulled up that picture before. Let me see if I pull it up again of these guys. Let me see if I can pull that picture back up. We'll just do screen over here. What's in these guys, as I think this should be coming up now. Yeah. There's no telling, like I said, what's in there. That's not visceral fat. That's not just fat, because it's not all over the body. It's only in the abdominal region. So people are dealing with things like, there's another one of our participants. I'll keep them anonymous. That's not on the call right now. That has been continuing the cleanse. I wasn't aware of that. That they had jumped back on. They didn't wait for us to jump back on. So there's one person in particular that's on the cleanse, and that person is, now that you add it up, probably on their 8th day. And this has happened only once before. They advised me that they're still having solid bowel movements on the 8th day, right? So that lets you know, whereas there's another person that didn't have solid bowel movements or any bowel movements because they had fasted 4 days before the cleanse, which is a no-no. This is a very specific program. So when I give you guys the program and the procedure, do not alter it, because there are things that will happen from you altering it that will affect things negatively, more than likely. So you would think that, okay, well, he fasted 4 days beforehand, so that should accelerate the weight loss. It was the opposite. I didn't get a chance to tell Ariel this. Ariel, this individual actually gained 2 pounds the first day. That has never happened before. And I spoke to Lakai about this before. I'll repeat it for everybody else. That's because I had to sit with it for a minute and realize that this person's body went into survival mode. And when you are in survival mode, you get the opposite of what people are trying to do with like a ketogenic diet, where they're eating 1 meal a day, intermittent fasting. That doesn't give you fully into a survival mode. It gets you into a place where your body's burning fat for fuel. When you go into full survival mode, your body stops burning fat and begins to break down muscle for fuel. And anything that comes in, it will hold on to it for dear life. So that's where he gained 2 pounds, because now the formula became like a feast, because the formula is not completely low calorie. It's not low calorie. It's got substance. It's got minerals. It's got, the things that your body needs so that the body doesn't have to break down food. So when it got that, it was a feast. It was like, oh gosh. And he held on to everything and he gained 2 pounds without even drinking the whole formula. So just to let you guys know, do not alter anything, please. Just trust me on this. Do it exactly. We're restarting. Everybody has access to me. There are individual issues. Everybody has their own little situation that I'm aware of, and I've made adjustments for that along the way. So don't worry, I got you on this.
I have a question.
Sure,
I'm
Mo.
sorry.
Please.
So you know that I work overnight, so I sleep mostly during the day. Will I be taking like everything at a different time than everyone else?
Yes, yes, and yes. This particular, like again, all of you guys have the new Sun Pearl gems, right?
Yeah.
Okay. This is going to change the game. That's why this is the upgrade. This is the first leg, the first part of the upgrade, because this is literally liquid sun. Okay. And it's been hidden. A lot of things that we bring to the table are very avant-garde, not so much in the elements sometimes, because this is a known element. Okay, this is vitamin D3, but it's in a specific dose. Okay, and the application they would tell you is a no-no, because when you look at the history, I want to get into this. Now we've got less than 10 minutes on this call. It's okay, we started late. I'll cover as much as I can here. If you guys want to come back on, you can use the same link that you used before and you'll come right back on if we get cut. Okay? So
Okay.
what we're dealing with is a history of suppression, especially for melanated people. So for a melanated person, there is not enough sun on the planet in a 24-hour period to optimize your health. And sun is like food to you. You absorb the sun, you eat the sun. Whereas other peoples on the planet, they're using sunshade and sunscreen, and they're walking around with umbrellas. And it really irks me when I see a black person walking with an umbrella or having their children walk with umbrellas. I've confronted them literally in Florida. Like, what are you doing? Like, don't you know that, that's not the move for you? That's detrimental to you. But we've been taught, oh, you don't want to get too dark. All of the things that go along with that. Yeah, I had a woman tell me, oh, yeah, I don't want to get any darker. Yes, you do. That's electrical charge. That's what you're really made of. That's the true currency. That's the true energy, is what you're able to process. Thankfully, we're at a point where we know that those pills that I have in that bottle are exactly equivalent to sunlight. And that's one of the things in combination that allowed me to put on almost 10 pounds in 2 days, which is not supposed to be possible, is because of the super supplementation of that, along with other things that I did, which I'm about to share with you guys. So this is what's going to put you in even deeper sleep, allow you to wake up, especially if you have to shift your time schedule like Mo is doing, working at night. That means that you're not getting any sun during the day because you're asleep. Lakai, if you're studying at night and then you got to get up and go to work and you're indoors, again, your whole what's called circadian rhythm is off. This is right. And you guys are suffering because of that. And we're living in a society where you're making that sacrifice for your family, for your prosperity, right? But you can't get that back unless you apply serious knowledge to counteract the damage that you're doing to yourself. This is what you're at. This is where you're at right now. So to give you specifics, if you go through the history of the discovery of this thing, number one, vitamin D3 is not a vitamin. First okie doke. I'll let that sink in. Vitamin D3 is not a vitamin. They just allowed themselves to call it that to throw it off and get you the official story. Well, they had just named vitamin C, so this was the next letter in the alphabet, so we called it vitamin D. Well, how are you going to call it vitamin D when it's not a vitamin? It's a hormone. Okay, this is a hormone. It acts in the body as a hormone, not a vitamin. And there's a difference. Like I just put up that Sebi quote a minute ago that told you that, you know, your body doesn't need vitamins per se, which is not totally true. Ariel and I have had these discussions about Sebi before, and people are taking his stuff too literal. That's not the deal. It's not that you don't need vitamins. What's more important are minerals, enzymes, and hormones. Of course you need vitamins. They're essential. But your body does, and amino acids and so forth. Your body does synthesize a lot of things. So that's where the discrepancy might come in. But you definitely need to intake certain minerals, and you can supplement to get yourself back to a normal state, because people are not in a normal state right now. They're in limp mode. Let's see how much time I got left. About 4 minutes. Okay. So to tell you a little bit of the history, when this thing was discovered, they completely downgraded the dosage. And it's a very serious matter. So initially they told you that you needed 400 international units as a quote unquote daily requirement. That is like a drop in the bucket. The doses, I'm afraid to even tell you the doses that I'm eventually going to have you guys taking. But I'm going to bring you up to that, and I'm going to give you the research behind it as well as my personal experience. I'll start with one of my personal experiences. Last year, I traveled to New York for my son's graduation, and my son and I are martial artists. We've been under an elder for me for over 30 years, and he's been training for about 5 years now. He's 20 years old. And it's been a while since I've been back in town, and I went a little harder than I should have, considering that I wasn't training as hard as I should have been. And we had a little scuffle with some ground techniques, and I ended up dislocating a rib by twisting him off. He's a big boy now. He's 20 and he had a growth spurt. So he's like 6'4", 200 pounds. And he had his whole weight on me while we were like doing all this stuff on the ground. And I twisted him off of me and pushed him off and twisted my body up to spring up back up. And in the process, I dislocated the rib. Okay. And it was hella painful. I've gone through some pain, but that was one of the top pains that I've gone through. And he felt bad about it. You know, we were staying in an Airbnb. We researched, because he's like me, he's a geek like me. So we researched, like, what's this deal? Do I go to the hospital? Do I get a cast around my torso? What's going on? I was in pain. Any breath that I took, every move that I made was just hella pain. And we found out that there's nothing you can do about it, and you just got to allow it to heal by itself. And it usually will take no less than 3 months. Well, meditation, I was led to take mega doses of what's in that bottle right there on the screen. And because of that, and I have a way to test through meditation energetically that gave me specific doses, and I will be doing that for each one of you guys. But I don't only rely on this. So we'll be fine for a 2-month period. But if you guys want to undertake this particular upgrade, you have to agree to get a blood test to Quest Diagnostic. It's not expensive. It's like maybe $75 to test all your vitamins spectrum. But really what I'm looking for is what your numbers are going to be at the end of the go round on vitamin D3. Because I need to get that number up, because everybody's numbers are low. We don't need to test it off the bat. Trust me, your numbers are going to be low. You already know. You guys are not out in the sun, and trust me, there's not even enough sun to get normal if you were out in the sun. So what I'm looking for is to establish where we will be in 2 months before we continue or take a break. Because also this is what's called fat soluble. So in other words, it doesn't flush out like vitamin C does, but through water. Like again, I told you, it's not even a vitamin; it's a hormone. So it's